Prateek Kuhad's music is something that represents modern relationships and heartbreak. Back in December 2018, Prateek Kuhad gave us Cold Mess. The video song had a beautiful storyline to muse over for the rest of our lives. A lot of us found ourselves. A lot of us moved on from our past relationships and heartbreak. A few of us found new love, and some of us got introduced to veganism. Let's talk about Cold Mess. Only when Barack Obama gave validation to this song in 2019, average Indian listeners started appreciating Kuhad's music and indie music in general. Because that's what we need, validation from foreigners. Cold Mess, song written, sang and composed by Prateek Kuhad himself, is filmed by Jugaad Motion Pictures. They are known for their modern and millennial, Gen Z-centric style of storytelling. This team has also contributed with their stories for songs like
बैठो कभी साथ मेरे भी दो बातें करो चल दिल की धड़कन से तो आए जाना हमारे निंदरा उड़ाइयां अंबरा तो कुछ तारे देन के गवाइयां नित नित तेरे उत्ते दौलत.
Talking about the storyline of Prateek Kuhad's Cold Mess, the story revolves around two different characters that displays deep individualistic personalities, choices and opinions. There's Jim Sarb, who seems to be kinda old school, finds peace with his sorrows, who likes to listen to sad music when feeling low or heartbroken, who doesn't like tangy or sharp flavors like of lemon. The second character, that is played by Zoya Hussain, seems to be more outgoing, progressive, likes vegan food to be precise, a lot. The story begins with the two characters seated beside each other, engrossed, holding filthy hands while eating. Depicts the beginning of some chemistry between these two individuals. One doesn't like tarts and the other doesn't like lemon.
I don't like lemons.
I don't like dogs.
They try to coincide whether it's a good idea or not. Here, the story of liking and disliking, the idea of tart, is a metaphor used to relate to the idea of relationship. I would like to appreciate Dargai, an India-based Ukrainian director and screenwriter who is behind this beautiful video, that she haven't tried romanticizing the love and relationship but tells us how important it is to talk it out and figure out things in a relationship. Zoya talks about leaving it to the future by saying,
Just don't play sad songs when I leave.
And their relationship begins. The loop of their intimate kisses gives us clarity that they both are deeply in love with each other, in spite of various differences in choices, maybe opinions and lifestyle too. The drama after massive loop of kissing scene burst into a surprise to the audience when Prateek's rhythmic, tension-building music comes in. The two individuals shows some sort of action, starts walking and then goes different ways.
When I feel cold I'll keep you close and if
The couples dive into the pool showcased as metaphor to life here. Both of them decide to dive deep in together in each other's life, finding meaning in each other's company, explore the side of life that is dark, not so happy, full of sorrow, failures, past baggages, disagreements for whatever reasons, as well as figure out the better side of life. In the next scene, what we see is immediate change of setting. Both Jim and Zoya are comfortable with each other in the bed together.
when at night your toes touch mine.
These lines portrays the comfort between these two individuals when they are into their heaven zone. Zone where they are joyful, happy, excited. There's a dopamine rush within and they are looking for more. They crave for each other's belongingness, their comfort of being at each other's side. They are vulnerable as kids. Next cut emphasizes on the hell zone, where they begin to dive deep within each other's life. They fight, they argue, they disagree with each other. Zoya is showed as a character that displays a very strong personality, is independent, hence she packs a bag a lot of times when there's a quarrel between the two and leaves the house. Jim Sarb seems to be kinda submissive kind of a character here because he rushes every time to get her back. Love has a different kind of energy. We are made to believe that heaven is good and hell is bad. But William Blake, an English poet and painter, explains this theory in his book, The Marriage of Heaven and Hell, published in 1973. Blake says, for humans, attraction and repulsion, reason and energy, love and hate are necessary to human existence and any kind of relationship. Now, let's take a pause from cold mess and let's talk about love and relationships, especially when it's in India, and how our music scene have been narrating it through various mediums all this while. In our country, love is usually misguided as a concept where two individuals are alike and have similar choices, family backgrounds, professions, and carries no baggage whatsoever, and hence they are soulmates. The music, lyrics, and songs usually depicts how an individual completes their partner's shortcomings, how it breaks one free from their loneliness and makes the world a better place to live in, only in the presence of each other when together in life. They communicate love or fall for one another by looking into each other's eyes. And if they travel together, they'll be able to find their soulmate on the road, and they make us believe that it's easy for two individuals to live together. Love is depicted as when sky is all pink, there are violins being played, couple is all happy, and especially the female is highly obliged to the guy, falling for her and loving her. It's rare when love is depicted with the idea of both sorrow and happiness. What we are made to believe is the idea of the one, which is absolutely delusional. Few iconic movies and web series that depicts the modern relationships way ahead of its time and narrates story of reality are Rockstar, Akshay's character in Dil Chahta Hai, Sunrise Trilogy, Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind, Tamasha, Permanent Roommates, Little Things, and a lot more. Imtiaz Ali is known for this sort of storytelling in Bollywood. But wait a minute, aren't we used to labeling such relationships as toxic? Coming back to Cold Mess, both Jim and Zoya are terribly close to each other. They belong to each other and they live together, share mental and physical space with each other, coinciding on the state of mind that is, lemon tart as a good idea.
And this is a good idea.
Jim's character displays insecurities and depicts some sort of possessiveness too. Trust me, this cold mess kinda gets hot here. Prateek makes a special cameo in here for a moment and creates tension between the two. This moment of tension is focused on Zoya when accused of unwanted stress, brings out her defense mechanism from her hell zone and hits Jim, maybe. If you see when out of the club, Jim is bleeding on his forehead. The story is all about being vulnerable, bringing out both hell and heaven zones, drowning deep into life's joys and sorrows. As showcased earlier in the story, Zoya decides to part ways again, comes back to Jim again. They both make love to each other again and they are still drowning in the sorrow once again. The story ends with both of them deciding to let go of each other. The story begins with hand-holding and ends with leaving each other's hands to find peace within oneself. Maybe this was the end. Maybe this wasn't. Well, according to Prateek,
Wish I could